It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM, and it's time to check in with Veg Ingram. She's the president of the Gawler and Districts Softball Association in regional South Australia. Good to be with you again, Veg, and it's all heating up. How are you doing?
Hi, Ellis. Going really well, and it definitely is getting to the pointy end of the season at the moment.
Oh, it's an action-packed time to be following the competitions there across the association. Let's firstly take a look at the men. The senior men had a win last Sunday, and they're all set to play again this coming Sunday. So bring us up to speed on how things are looking with the senior men's representative side.
Yeah, so the Giants men played Phantoms in the semi-final on Sunday, and it was a long match. The game started at 11 a.m. and finished at 1:30 after only 3 innings. So normally they would actually play 7 innings. The men were patient with the bat and kept it tight in the field. There's no run limit, which meant the teams just keep batting until the 3 outs were made. And the game was called due to mercy. The boys batted really well, scoring 33 runs to Phantom's 8 to win the game. And they'll progress this week to the preliminary finals against the top team Hillbillies on Sunday at 11 o'clock. So this is going to be a really tough match this week for them.
Well, looking forward to seeing them rise to the occasion, Veg. Now, it's all about the grand finals this weekend with regards to our other competitions, but let's take a look at how we got here. So we'll start off in the under-14s. Kangas, they played Trinity Red. Tell us how this one played out.
Yeah, so the first innings was fairly evenly matched with each team scoring only 1 run. Kangas came out firing in the second innings, scoring the maximum 7 runs to retire the side. Trinity scored 2 more runs in the third innings to Kangas 3, and then Kangas took the win 11-3 and now progressed through to the grand final this weekend.
There we have it. Well, in the under-17s, we had the Giants playing the Blue Jays. So how did this one go?
Believe it or not, that men's game wasn't the longest game of the weekend. That award goes to the under-17 team. So this game went on for 3 hours. So the juniors have a maximum of 7 runs per innings. For the first 2 innings, both teams scored the maximum of 14 runs. In the third innings, Giants scored a further 7. Blue Jays then scored 6. And in the fourth innings, Giants scored 4 before Bailey Peel had 2 strikeouts and assists to retire the side. Then Blue Jays just needed 6 runs to win the game, and with some good hits, they achieved this, and they ended up winning the game 26-25, and they progressed through to the grand final.
In Div 2, it was the Kangas who were too good for the Giants, and they will proceed through to a grand final as well, Veg.
Yeah, so Kangas batted progressively well throughout the game, scoring 14 runs. They held Giants until the third innings, where Giants scored 7 runs, and then Giants just needed 7 runs to tie the game, and in the bottom of the 5th, despite a wonderful single hit to centre field by Tiana Staker, Kangas managed to get the 3 outs to win the game 14-7.
Well, it's scheduled for 2:00 p.m, the Div 2 grand final, Veg, but people should note that that is pending on how the under-17 game goes, and by the sounds of it, we might have another long under-17s game again this weekend.
Yeah, you never know. But this weekend's under-17 is going to be a really good matchup. So hopefully it won't go as long as 3 hours, because I think the last game ended up finishing about 7:30 at night, and it was getting a little bit dark then to play. So let's try and keep them tight during the grand finals, I reckon.
Wow. There we go. Well, in Div 1 last weekend, the Blue Jays, they played Kangas Grey, and it was indeed the Blue Jays who got up. So how did this one go?
Yeah, both teams were scoreless in the first innings with some tight fielding by both pitchers. Alex Hill from Kangas and Kelly Bryan from Blue Jays, both achieving strikeouts. They did a really good job. Blue Jays scored 5 runs in the second innings and held Kangas with some more strikeouts to win the game, 8-2, so they progressed through.
Well, let's take a look at what it all means. So Saturday the 25th is a grand final day across the mounds there at Karbeethan Reserve, and in the under-14s, Veg, which will be, well, it's scheduled to start at 9 a.m. It's Kangas v Giants. Give us a bit of a preview of this one.
Yeah, so I went through the scores from throughout the season. So this is going to be a really good battle, and I really couldn't pick a clear winner. So the first time the two teams played each other, Kangas won 11-3. The second time, Giants won 13-5. Then the third time was a draw. And then the fourth time they played each other, Kangas won by 2 runs. So both teams are fairly evenly matched. Both have some big hitters, with both teams having players representing Gawler at the Junior State Championships last weekend, both in the girls and the boys competition. Lily Smith from Kangas has been on fire this week with her pitching lately, but Giants have some hitters, big hitters like Dan Barrett, Memphis Jones and Sienna Sutton, who can really hit the ball. So it's going to come down to who can keep the fielding tight in this game, I reckon.
We'll move along and talk about the under-17s. At 11:30, the Kangas play the Blue Jays. Can I ask for a tip? I know you don't like tipping, Veg, but if you're going to lean one way, it's going to be hard to call either way because, as we know, under-17's very competitive.
It is. So with only 3 teams in this under-17 competition this year, Kangas finished on top, so they went straight through to the grand final, and Blue Jays ended up beating Giants last week. So these 2 teams are going to be battling it out this week. Kangas have a really strong pitcher in Alex Hill with some big hitters and some experience, while Blue Jays have the youth and the speed. I think the strength and the experience will have to have the advantage in this game, but Blue Jays are a young side and will learn a lot tomorrow and gain some really useful experience, which will set them up to make them a powerhouse in the future. But if I had to go one way or the other, I think Kangas may have the upper hand in this game.
All right, Div 2, how much of a chance do you give 2 Wells? Can they win the flag in Div 2 against the Kangas?
Yeah, so looking back on the games between these 2 teams throughout the season, 2 Wills won the first game, then Kangas won the next 2. So given this, you could say Kangas may have the upper hand going into this game. But as you know, Ellis, anything can happen in a grand final. So I don't know on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in Div 1, we've got Kangas Blue hosting the Blue Jays. So the cream of the crop having it out at 4 o'clock at Karbeethan Reserve. It's going to be a massive grand final. Yeah,
so Kangas Blue have bet Blue Jays each time they've played each other, 13-3 and 10-9. So you could say that they may have the upper hand, but Blue Jays had a really good win last week against Kangas Grey to make it through. So they have some very good and seasoned players who do have finals experience. And Kangas are some really big hitters, so they're really going to need to shut down those Kangas early on in the game with those big hits, I reckon.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to, Veg. Before we let you go, let's take a look back at the awards from last Sunday, so the presentation day at Karbeethan Reserve. How'd it go?
Yeah, so we had a great presentation last Sunday. It was a good turnout from everyone, and very much a thank you to our Vice President, Matt Sutton, who put together all the best and fairest votes and displayed them on the screen, and we had the countdown, so that was a lot of fun. So the under-14 best and fairest went to Blake Rosenzweig from Kangas. The under-17 best and fairest went to Alana Gum from Kangas. And what's fantastic to see, the Division 2 best and fairest went to the young Taylor Peel from Blue Jays. So that is fantastic for Blue Jays to get that representation on the day. And also Div 1 went to Jenny Freeman, or Skinny as we know her. She's the catcher from the Kangas team in Division 1. So congratulations to all of those winners. We also had a couple of other awards presented. So most run shield. So this is the total number of runs for any team in any grade. And this time it went with 116 runs scored throughout the season to 2 Wills Division 2 team, which is fantastic to see. And the last one, we have a club championship shield. So this is based on placings on the ladder, the number of best and fairest votes for the club, divided by the number of teams within that club. And this year it went to Kangas. So congratulations to Kangas Softball Club. And I'd just like to say good luck to all the teams in the finals this week. It's going to be a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone come out and watching all our showcase games on Saturday.
And we're looking forward to finding out all about how the grand finals go with you next week, Veg Ingram. Thanks for your time. We'll speak next week. That's Veg Ingram, the president of the Gawler and Districts Softball Association. Thanks a lot, Veg.
Fantastic. Thanks, Ellis. Catch you next week.
Staying in South Australia next, we'll be hearing from Bruce Phillips for an update of Alexandra and Eastern Hills cricket. It's grand final week, so you don't want to miss this. That's up next here on the Flow Friday Sports Show.